Right. Welcome back. It is May 30th. Actually, I think we're one day off till the last day of the month. And so we can see, as we do every day, we zoom out to the monthly. We can see where that monthly close yesterday was 52.84. Of course, we're trading below that right now. We get a little bit of a gap down in the overnight session, 52.66 half. So about 20 handles off of that close. Remember what we had talked about, or what we've been talking about. Any trading below the prior month's high, which was at 53.17, can cause an increased liquidation. And we're kind of seeing that here. So important to note where the close will be, most likely around this area, as we just have 2 days left. But that 53.17 is not an unattainable level, right? Just about 57 points higher. So, or 50 points higher, basically. So they could close it up there and get this continuation, give a real bullish look. They could close it inside this month, give it just more of a balanced look. The odds of trading lower, a couple hundred points, probably not as high, but something to think about. If there is some kind of massacre, but most likely we're going to finish within balance or slightly above. Switching over to the weekly, you can see the weekly remains in balance. I know we did get a cessation of one time framing in the overnight session, but we want to be, cognizant of that the cash session rules them all. So we look at this previous week's low, and that's that 52.73 half. We're trading about, 7 handles below that right now. That will be a key level today. If we are able to get above it and claim and kind of stay above it, could be showing acceptance back inside the previous week's range. If we fail to hold above that 73, then I think the odds are greater that we trade a little bit lower, heading towards our equilibrium at that 52.43 level. Now, today is going to be an interesting day because we're getting a break from a weekly balance, and we're getting a break down out of a 2-week balance. A longer daily balance, and then a 2-week balance. So we want to be paying attention to this open, which is 52.62, which is just right above where we're at now, and then that previous, the T2 low, which is 52.33 quarter. That'd be a little bit below our equilibrium, but that's going to be kind of the key. Our buyer is going to step inside there. Now, are we going to trade down there today, right? It's definitely possible. It's only 30 points lower. So we could trade all the way to that low. I wouldn't be surprised. We do have a little bit of choppiness, I think, that starts to come in 52.30, 52.40 area. Starts to get a little bit choppy. And then we've got some singles that have been sitting for a while down at the 52.16 level. So switching over here to the daily, we can see we are or -4 day yesterday after that +4, right? Real easy indication yesterday. The market, for the most part, especially the S&P, really didn't do much. None of the markets really did much. I think a lot of people got overzealous. A lot of people got short too early, got their heads ripped off early. They kept getting short at the lows, looking for the breakdown. It didn't come until the end of the day. So, had you been in the room with us, you probably stayed on the right side. We were able to stay off of the short side early and just wait to sell those rallies. Now, switching over to the profiles here, we can see really the bigger structure. And so we're coming into this previous 3-day balance. You can see as the overnight session traded into that previous 3-day balance. And so what we're looking for is either acceptance below that overnight point of control. So below that 67, I think the odds are pretty decent that we come down, at least test this virgin point of control, which is at 48. 45 is where I have my levels. And then, like I said, we get a little bit of a chop zone here, I think, as we get into that balance or towards that balance low. Remember, this range here is not, anything too crazy, but still something to pay attention to. You've got these kind of equal lows here down around that 33.50. That can always cause a reaction with a VPOC down below 52.30. So that can cause a bit of a move. If we do pop up, the market likely gets a little bit choppy as it gets back into the balance low and looks to find acceptance back into this above balance, right? This higher balance. And that would basically be giving us this kind of look below and fail type of look. And so it's going to be real choppy, probably better off being patient, waiting for that setup, waiting for that nice long to set up above the settle, targeting that 94, I think, which is the weekly half back, which would be a decent place for sellers either to re-offer or to just step out of the way. And if they step out of the way, then we start to get into our acceptance zone. That's above that 52.99 to 53.07. And they would be targeting that 53.17, that prior month's high. So there is some decent opportunity for some longs today. You've just got to be patient, wait for them to set up. And the same thing with the shorts. And I think you really kind of want to stay out of this diddle in the middle, balance low, right? If you get a break down from balance, you want to go with. If you get acceptance back in the balance, then you want to ride it back into balance. A nice point today is that we have a -4 settle from yesterday, 52.83, so we can kind of play short off of that. And also, we'll, be playing on the gap. So the gap is still 66 to yesterday's low, which was 72, 73 actually. What was it? I think it was higher. What was yesterday's low? Yesterday's low was 78. So off of yesterday's low, so about 10 handles higher here. So we looking to, go with the gap. If this gap does not fill, we definitely want to be trading in the direction of the gap, and that would be to the downside today. But that is pretty much it. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure you're managing risk and sticking to your trade plan, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.